is a guy who needs no introduction, no introduction, and I just will preface it by saying he's probably my best friend in baseball.
Thank you.
We've spent how many hours and hours together on and off the record talking about stuff over the course of the last 10 years?
Since I went to Japan in 2000? 2002, yeah. Long time.
And then I was with him practically every day for 5 years when he went from 700 home runs to 756, which was interrupted one year by how many knee surgeries?
I had 2 knee surgeries at that time, 2005, yeah.
Right.
We were together every day, locker every day.
Yeah, and then the amazing thing was he came back at the end of that season and hit like 5 home runs in like 12 games and hit one up into the upper deck at RFK Stadium that is still traveling. It banged around the seats up there. There was a Frank Howard seat that was white. I think he hit it up beyond that off of Levi Hernandez.
Yeah, I still don't think they go as far as stands.
Well, it's hard to reach. So, really, it's been 9 years since you made that run at Aaron. And so to a certain degree, probably more so, the pressure you were under, and you're watching Ichiro go for his 3,000th hit tonight. What's that been like watching that this year in your first year as a hitting coach?
Boy, it's phenomenal to watch an outstanding athlete that technically is flawless in a way. We can go back to Rock Carew, Tony Gwynn, Pete Rose, and on and on and on. And each Rose simplifies the same thing as they've done throughout their careers. And when you get to watch a person with like a technician and his work ethics, his mindset on the game, the way he can adapt to things that go on the field, it's really impressive to watch. When I was going through my home run records and stuff, I'm on this side, so I don't get to see what's really happening, and I'm just dealing with it in my mind and trying to stay focused and keep my head clear and everything that's coming at you in 9 different directions. Ichiro's going through that now. There's so much media on him, and but his approach, his work ethics, his thought process, the way he goes about his business is what really separates him from the average baseball player.
You love Tony Gwynn, and to me, I watch Tony and I watch Ichiro, and they're not exactly the same players, but they are similar, and they come maybe from a different approach. How do you compare those two guys?
I compare all of us the same. I had a talk with some of the players inside, and I said, Ichiro is no different than I am. We have the same technique. We have the same IQ on hitting. We're just 2 different style of hitters, but the philosophy is exactly the same. The techniques are exactly the same. The way we approach the ball, the way we get to one side to the other, the way we're able to adapt. All of us within that hitting category are technically identical. The thing is that each one has a different way they do it. Ichiro and Tony Gwynn were more hitters that would hit base hits and technically sound in that aspect. I was technically sound and making contact, just some of mine went over the fence.
Yeah.
That was just it, but we are identically the same. We have the same thought process. We understand what's happening in front of us. We're able to adapt to the situations, and so I kind of put us all in the same category.
2 things stand out. One is that when Pete Rose was going after Cobb's record, he told me that he could read Giamatti's name on the ball as it came out of a pitcher's hand and was coming to the plate. You once told me that you could tell whether a ball was a ball or a strike before it came out of the pitcher's hand. Now that's something, technique regardless, is something that you have and Pete had that are pretty much different than a lot of other hitters in God-given talent, eyesight, everything.
Yeah, Ichiro has it. He has the same IQ. As they say, Barry, you can see the spin on the ball. Yeah, we all can see the spin. If we don't see it, we're going to get hit. We actually technically see the spin. It's just the way that we get set sooner. the way that we're in a better balance position and balance point in hitting is just a little bit more advanced than some other guys.
So when I saw you in spring training, we talked during the winter, this was all an exploration for you, coming in and becoming a full-time hitting coach. It was nothing you ever really wanted to do. The situation was presented to you. You decided to do it. Now we're half a season in. How have you adjusted to it, and how have you liked it?
You know, I wanted to do something that my dad did. My dad, to me, was the best hitting coach I ever had. His IQ was, like I said, off the chart, and he could see things, and he made my job easier. And I wanted to, you know, when I was presented this from Jeffrey, when he first called me, so everyone knows the truth, I was like, are you nuts? This is ridiculous. No way am I doing that. And like I said before, Barry, if it wasn't for Alex Rodriguez and Dexter Fowler, me working with them during the offseason, I just wanted to know if I could install those same things and the same teaching that my father has and the same patience, and realize that everyone's different and you have to treat it different. And now I learned that I really enjoy it. I enjoy the different personalities. I enjoy trying to figure out where his mind is, why sometimes I can see something he doesn't. How can I help him get there on his own time, not expecting of my time, but at his time, at his pace. You know, I think doing this, very honestly, has given me a lot more patience to deal with people, because I'm not much of a talker. I'll just avoid everyone, and it's really given me that balance of being able to communicate, and I'm enjoying myself a lot.
You're doing fine right now, that's for sure.
Well, they are. They're doing good.
Talking.
Well, thank you.
So what about the whole issue of getting on and off the bus again, getting on and off the plane, 162 games, every day is spring training? Have you adjusted back to that, where really as a player you were set aside from a lot of the rest of the guys because of who you are, but now you're a coach on a team and one element of the team. How do you adjust to all that?
Well, I had to adjust pretty quick because Donnie got mad at me because I fell asleep.
What was that?
I was like in spring training, and I was like sleepwalking. No, early part of the season. And you know, being away for 9 years, I ride a bike now. I do triathlon. I have my body scheduled for other things now, and getting back and just being there so early and waiting and sitting in the cage, I just was like this. This is like not something I'm accustomed to, but you know, your body adapts, and I'm back into it now.
What about the whole approach to, I mean, you were such a focal point in that giant clubhouse, and here you're the coach. It's a completely different situation, isn't it?
But that's what I like, Barry. I mean, it's like I tell everyone else, and like I tell these guys, my job is to install whatever I can. Hopefully I bring value into where your career is going. And it's my job, hopefully, that I can install something in you that you will be able to install into the next generation. That's what we're supposed to do as ball players. That's our fraternity, and I'm really proud of our fraternity. And that's what my dad would want me to do. That's what my godfather Willie would want me to do. That's what my cousin Reggie Jackson and my whole entire family would want me to do. And that's why I came here to do that, to install the things that were gifted to me into them, and hopefully I can bring some value into them, and hopefully they will install that to the next generation.
One of the things you and Donnie told me early on was you wanted to be able to turn Marcell Ozuna back into the hitter he was his freshman year after a sophomore jinx type season last year. And I know your owner, who's impatient, was ready to get rid of Ozuna, and you two guys said, give us a chance. What did you do with Ozuna that turned him back into an all-star?
Just have him believe in himself. Ozuna, they're all young players here, and people's expectations out of a 24 or 25-year-old player, it's hard. You have to take steps, and so Ozuna wanted the knowledge from me, and I praise Ozuna. People can say what I've done, but you have to want it. And Ozuna wanted it. He wanted to come to me every day. He wanted to stick with it. You get some players that go, wow, I say do this, and they'll do this, and if you don't get this quick fix, they're like, oh, I got to go do something else. It doesn't work. And that's not the process of baseball. I tell them, you're going to go through this for however long you're going to play. I was trying to figure out a puzzle for 22 years, and once it's over, it's over. I don't know if I ever figured it out, but I did the best I could, and we're going to have new challenges every year. But if we don't start somewhere, and we don't start to communicate together, and we don't build this bond with us, we're going to get nowhere. And Ozuna just wanted it, and he was able to make the adjustments and the change. But you got to praise Ozuna because he came and he wanted it, and he grabbed it, and that's why he's doing what he's doing.
Well, I mean, I think you should give yourself a little more credit, because I watched you morph as a hitter as you grew older, and as they walked you more, you took less pitches. You still hit home runs, but you won batting championships late in your career because you started using the field. I always called you Tony Gwynn with power because you started going to left, to right. It didn't matter. Whatever they gave you, they gave you. So you made a huge adjustment in the way you hit later in your career, didn't you?
Well, yeah, later in my career, I didn't run as much, so hitting was my thing at the time, and playing outfield, I didn't run or steal bases toward the end. But I got smarter. As you get older, you're going to get a lot smarter. You're going to get better. You're going to know what you can and can't do, But if you really want to know the truth, I told Ozuna his bat that he had was horrible. I gave him one of my bats. He believed it, but it really wasn't the bat. It was always him. And so he always thinks it's the bat, and if he thinks it's the bat, God bless him, keep swinging it.
Well, tell them the story about how at Three Rivers Stadium, when you were young players, you and Tony were at the batting cage, and you looked at Tony's little bat, and you said,
yeah, I grabbed Tony because I was like, how can anyone swing? His bat was like 29 ounces and like 32 in length, and I'm like, there's no one that can swing a bat that small. And I said, Tony, man, let me have one of your bats. And Tony was always reluctant to give anyone his stuff. He took pride in his equipment, and so he gave me one of his bats, and I went on a home run tear with that bat. And he gave me one, and I was like, and we went to go to San Diego, and I was like, hey Tony, man, can I get another bat? And he was like, nah, B, not today, not in this stadium. Use your bat. And, for that moment, I believed it was the bat. And Tony was like, it's always a soldier, baby. That bat. Tony used to say, and my dad said this a lot too, really. He's like, put the bat down and let it sit there and tell me how many balls it can hit. I was like, none. It doesn't move. It's the soldier. It's not the bat. You have to swing the bat. So it doesn't matter what you have in your hand. If you believe in yourself that you can do something, you'll be all right.
Well, you told Tony if you could hit home runs with that bat, he could hit home runs with that bat, right?
Yeah, Tony could always hit home runs. Each row hits home runs too. But
right. You watch him in batting practice.
Yeah, but that just isn't their game. It's amazing that they could be in batting practice and hit more home runs than any of us. If they win a home run in any contest, they'd beat all of us because they're so flawless in their swing. But that was just never their game.
What kind of guy is Stanton?
Unbelievable, and I'm going to tell you why. And I told him before, I said, you know what, I love this guy because through his struggles, and people don't understand, it's hard to have that kind of pressure, have that kind of salary and everybody's expectation. And when Stan was going through the bad 2 months of the season, the guy never changed his personality. He was always there for his team. He always had a great positive attitude, and he really wanted to solve the problem. It's just that his mindset and what I was feeding him was just a little far advanced that he could grab. It was like if I say, hey, Stan, your hand should be here. He's like, well, that doesn't seem right. And so we finally, like I said, it's a process. We finally come together where he's actually seeing it and he's trusting it. But the most impressive thing about him, that I don't care who it is, that guy went through that month that I basically wasn't even here. But his attitude was probably the best attitude I ever seen out of a person, and wanting to get better and not really allow it to affect him, and he never, ever, ever let his teammates see him down, and that was the most impressive thing I ever seen out of a person.
Didn't you say one of the problems was he was a little bit too far off the plate at some point?
Well, not so much off the plate as he has this way of, he created this monster with wrapping his hand behind his ear, and hitting doesn't come from back here, and he created that. And so once you've created something for so long, you believe in it, and trying to get you off of that it's a process. It just doesn't happen like that, especially during the season time. Those are the kind of things that I try to tell hitters that we do during the off season, where we put that time in the batting cage and we do that stuff on the field, because we lose nothing out here, but we can gain everything. And so we can go through all the trial and errors and oopsies and mistakes and makeups. And what happened was we were trying to revamp this during the season when everything counts. And so you got this big magnifying glass on you with 30, 40,000 people watching every day. At the same time, you're trying to fix something. And that's not easy to do. And I think he's done a great job.
Well, I've never seen anybody better at that than you. I mean, when you played, outside influences, legal problems, what was going on the field, the media, you played through it. In fact, I think you fed off that pressure more than anybody I've ever seen. You were the best at playing through everything.
Well, I had a father that was very different and disciplined, and I had a godfather that I wanted to accept me as a great baseball player. And Willie and my dad always told me, whatever problems you have off this field are still going to be there 3 hours after this game. And baseball just gave me that relief from everything that was going on around me throughout my career. And I didn't want to let my team down. I didn't want to let myself down. I didn't want to let my godfather down. So I had more pressure with just having my godfather Willie say I was a good baseball player since I was 5 years old and get a big hug from him and my dad than concerned about any legal problem I ever had. That was easy compared to him accepting me as a baseball player, and a good one.
So you love what you're doing, right?
Love it.
So basically, if you have the opportunity, making a little news here, you'd come back next year as the hitting coach of the Marlins?
If they want me, I'll be back.
And there you go. Everybody likes that. Well, I will say, I've been lucky enough in my life that I grew up in New York and I watched Mickey Mantle as a kid. And then I covered Tony Gwynn's whole career from his first hit to his last hit and saw practically everyone in between. And then I was with this guy for 10 years and I watched him. These are the 3 greatest hitters that I've ever seen. And I'm not taking anything away from
that. That was the most difficult one.
I know, Tony could be difficult too. I mean, he had his way. But, yeah, I'm not taking anything from Mays and Aaron. I just didn't see them every day. They were wonderful players. I wasn't alive to see Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio. But you 3 guys, I mean, it's a textbook in learning about baseball just watching you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, B. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.